Hello, my name is Marley Downs, a member of the Paradigm Challenge team, the Nerd Herd. These are my group members, Kayla Kregel and Kara McLaughlin. Our group's project is to create an affordable, easy-to-use tape for those affected by CP or cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a disorder of movement, muscle tone, and posture caused by prenatal brain injury.
Current bracing systems for people that have CP are mostly made out of plastics and metals, which means that they're expensive, they're hard to put on, they're extraordinarily heavy, and they don't allow the patients to move at all. We hope to make an affordable, easy-to-use taping system that will give these patients the support they need while still allowing them the possibility for movement.
The name of our project is the B.E.T.H Project, which stands for Bringing Everyone Together Through Hope. We hope to raise awareness about CP and improve their quality of life, and this video was inspired by our good friend Beth, who has spastic CP, and you will be meeting her later in this video. This is Kevin McLaughlin, my dad. He is a doctor of physical therapy and the owner of McLaughlin Physical Therapy. Can you please let everyone know where you got your degrees from and what degrees they are?
Sure. My physical therapy degree was first a master's degree from the University of Maryland at Baltimore. That was completed in 2001. And then my class was the first one to transition to the doctorate level, and I received the doctorate of physical therapy in 2003.
Okay. What do you do with your job, and how do you interact with the cerebral palsy patients?
Well, I own a practice that presently has 9 physical therapists and physical therapist assistants. We've been in business for 11 years, and we noticed there was a need for the treatment of children with CP because they were falling through the cracks and were not being seen at other facilities. So we decided to take them on, and it's been wonderful.
How would our bracing/taping system positively impact the CP community, and what are the challenges they are facing now?
Well, the challenge that they face is mobility. Due to the spasticity that occurs from cerebral palsy, especially in the lower extremities, gait can be very, very difficult. If you have a device that can control the movement of their foot, their ankle, and possibly their knee joint, it might help with their mobility.
Thank you.
Sure.
We'd like to share with everyone the idea we have for our B.E.T.H Project Cerebral Palsy Bracing Tape. Now, our project is to create an affordable, easy-to-use bracing tape that patients with cerebral palsy can use in place of bulkier, more expensive bracing that's currently on the market. We know this tape needs to be incredibly strong because the tapes currently out there don't really fit their needs. We've designed our tape as follows. We have a mesh layer on the top, which is made out of a strong string. This can be adjusted in thickness so that the elasticity and strength of the tape meets the needs of the patients. The bamboo fabric between the two layers is going to be incredibly strong. It's more versatile than original cotton fabric, and our bottom layer is made out of non-latex adhesive. We know that a lot of people have an aversion or an allergy to latex-based adhesive, and we want to solve that problem by coming up with a different solution for the bottom of our tape that'll assist in its longevity. Bamboo fabric is the main part of our taping system. Bamboo can grow up to 4 feet a day in the wild, so it's a plentiful resource that we know we can utilize well. The fabric obtains some of its health benefits from the original bamboo, so it's got a lot of strength, it's got some antibacterial qualities, it's incredibly soft, which is important for their skin, and we know that it'll last a very long time. This tape can be easily produced and have a lot more strength than current bracing tapes so that it properly meets the needs of the patients who really need their muscles and their spasticity to be under check. I'd love to introduce you an incredibly amazing and inspirational cerebral palsy expert, Miss Maddie. Can you please tell us where you got your degree?
Yes, I graduated in May of last year from Cecil College. They have a 2-year PTA program. So currently I'm a PTA who's licensed in Maryland to practice physical therapy.
How do you work with cerebral palsy patients?
It's been a long time that I have been working with cerebral palsy patients. My experience in the past definitely has helped me. It's a lot of fun. Making therapy more like games is so much more engaging for these patients. So Some days are good, some days are bad. They definitely need a little bit of both serious exercises and fun games to play during therapy to make them want to keep coming.
Exactly. What are problems that these people face when they come to therapy?
They definitely need gait training or learning how to walk. They definitely need management of their tone or tight muscles. They need therapeutic exercise to strengthen what's weak. And they need transfer training so that they get used to being in their bed, being able to get to their wheelchair, and stuff like on and off of the bathroom, in and out of the shower.
Exactly. Is there anything you'd like to tell the world about patients who have CP?
They are phenomenal. They constantly surprise me. They always are so funny. They're always so willing to participate and smile and laugh. That's the funnest part about working with them.
Thank you so much. So Maddie is going to show us some examples with one of our wonderful friends named Beth.
Hi, my name is Beth Decker. I am 24 years old.
So this is Beth's Dynavox. It's an augmentative communication device. It works like a touchscreen with many, many pages of words on it. Beth has learned to read and to write on here and how to communicate with others. It's her main, besides signing, some really simple basic signs, it's her main way to communicate. Beth, do you remember when you first learned how to type on Dynavox? Our first one that we had was one big screen with only 6 words on it. Now Beth has over 5,000 words on this Tobii Dynavox, which is her newest one that she has.
How long have you known Beth?
I've known Beth for over 14 years. Me and Beth grew up together. Her and my sister were best friends in kindergarten. And then I became her babysitter when I was 13. And I became her full-time nanny when I was from 18 to 25 years old.
Did she inspire you to become a physical therapist assistant?
Absolutely. I never experienced therapy before, but because I was with Beth for so many years, I took her all the time to therapy, and I loved it, and it was really cool. And there was one therapist who told me, wow, you're really good at this. You should do this for school. This was Kara's dad, and he really also inspired me and encouraged me to go to school and to go get an education. And I did, and now I'm here, which is great. And me and Beth still get to have our weekly sessions every week. We get to see each other and hang out, especially too on the weekend. As a part of Beth's physical therapy treatments, we always stretch her. Beth has cerebral palsy. Her specific sect of cerebral palsy is quadriplegic spastic. What that means is that all of her limbs are affected, all of her muscles, even the muscles in her mouth and her tongue, are affected by this. They are affected in that they have a lot of muscle tone, which means they're very tight and very strong. They don't stretch out really well. So we spend a lot of time in therapy stretching her out. For example, her legs are always very tight, especially her hamstrings. So we do a lot of hamstring stretches. As you can see, it's very tight. She doesn't like it very much, but it gets better. Stretching can really help her ability to move around on her own, to walk, and to do stuff like transfers. Good job, Beth. So I spend a lot of time stretching Beth's legs specifically so that she can walk really well. Give me another hamstring. Good job.
How does Beth typically get around? Does she use a wheelchair?
Typically during the day, because Beth goes to ARC, which is her center where she gets to work, she spends a lot of time in her wheelchair, but that's good. It gives her the ability to talk with her Dynavox and get around on her own, because everything is wheelchair accessible. But when she is at home, she loves to play, especially she likes to play out on the floor by herself. So she'll listen to music, and again, she kind of gets around by crawling on the floor. She can do that by herself. Yeah. The caregivers too will also walk and stand her when they need to. Now I'm stretching a muscle called her adductors or her inside thigh muscles. These also get very tight, and it can cause her to scissor while she walks or cross her feet. that feel okay, Beth? Good. Beth, do you like being stretched? Yeah. Do you think that it helps you when you go home after this? Yeah. What's your favorite part about therapy? Muscles? Oh, getting your legs stretched is your favorite? Okay, good. Let's stretch now.
How often is Beth stretched a week?
2 times a week. Beth comes to see us 2 times a week for about an hour, hour and a half for each session.
What would happen if she wasn't stretched?
If she wasn't stretched, it puts her at risk for contractures or her joints freezing in one position, which of course would not be very functional and would be really painful. She also would not be able to move around as good as she does on her own. And you always want them to be independent. So if they can't move very well, they're not going to be able to provide for themselves independently. Yep, just stretching that one there. Good. Let me see this other leg. So as you can see, when Beth gets excited, she's got a lot of tone. Her muscles are really tight. Oh, go ahead, you can stretch. Good stretch. Good job. Hold your knees. Good. And relax. Bless you. There you go. So right now I'm having a hard time stretching her because she is very excited and her tone is kicking in. You have to apply just the right amount of pressure to break through it without hurting her. Oh, is that where you feel it right there in your hamstring? Yeah. So yeah, she's just showing us she's feeling the stretch. Relax.
Does it feel good?
Yeah. Good.
Can at-home caretakers take care of her as well, or does she need physical therapy?
Physical therapy for Beth is medically necessary, especially to manage. We encourage caregivers at home though to follow through and complete stretching and exercises with her. A lot of the focus we give to the caregivers is training them on how to safely and properly transfer her though. That puts the risk of injury for both Beth and her caregivers really low, which is really important. Falls, if you're not trained properly, it's going to be hard to come back from.
Is she more susceptible to any other conditions because of CP?
Actually, no. So cerebral palsy isn't a regressive condition. It stays about the same, but you will have some secondary side effects, unfortunately. So one of those is the joint contractures that can happen. Hold on one sec. And her inability to move, though, may cause other musculoskeletal conditions, like scoliosis, too, in the spine can occur if it's not properly managed. So that's why when we have cerebral palsy patients, we see them throughout their lifetime, not only when they're young, but we continue to see them as they grow to continue to manage and make sure that they are in the proper positions. But the taping on Beth's foot now. We'll do that. Okay.
So just a quick thing real quick. These braces that they have for stretching them, that limits the range of motion while the brace is on, correct?
That is correct, but it limits it in the direction that she has too much in. So right now, Beth has too much plantar flexion, or her foot is too far down. We want to be able to bring her foot up into dorsiflexion, like this. That way, she can move around better, especially with walking. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do some taping for dorsiflexion for Beth.
So the tape that you're using is normally used for like sports injuries, correct?
That's correct. It's usually used, we use this tape, kinesio tape, in physical therapy. We use it for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of our athletes use it to improve their proprioception or improve their movement. And right now this is one of many products that are available on the market as far as taping goes. So for this taping, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break a piece off or an anchor. I'm going to place it on Beth's foot while I push her foot up into dorsiflexion. And because of her tone right now, she is pushing against me. But I'm gonna hold her foot in that position best I can. Does that feel okay, Beth? Yeah. Okay. While it's in this position, I'm gonna peel the big piece of tape off here. As I'm pulling, I'm actually stretching the tape up, which will provide enough tension to keep Beth's foot there. Now, as I push down on the tape, the adhesive will stick. And as I rub on the tape, the heat kind of activates the adhesive even further. Sometimes we also use another product called Tough Tape that helps it stick better. Some areas like the shoulder or the feet, they tend to get a little bit more difficult to stick just because of all the ridges. So the Tough Tape can help the application of the tape remain on longer. Okay, now that I have this piece on and it's nice and flat, we're going to apply the next piece. This piece will start on the inside of Beth's foot. We'll give it a really good pull so we get lots of tension. Putting her foot into dorsiflexion and letting it come up and over. Doing okay, Beth? Okay.
Now, how effective do you think this tape is stretching Beth and holding her in position?
For Beth, I don't find this tape to be very effective. It gives her good cues for her to pull her foot up. However, since she does have so much tone and it is so strong, she is able to push through it. A tape that's stronger and more rigid would be able to help her stay better in this positioning. Our tape, the application usually lasts anywhere from a couple of hours to 72 hours, depending upon how good it sticks the first time. Ideally, for taping to work though, multiple trials have to be done so that the patient learns the feedback from the tape. Our last piece just goes right across the top of the ankle joint and around back to the heel. Okay, Beth, how's that feel? Yeah. Now, as you can see, Beth's big toe is wanting to come up. That's a good sign. That means our tape is following along the tendons, wanting to lift the toes up. Okay, let's put your sock back on. Okay, Beth, can you roll over to your belly for me? Go ahead and roll on over. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Tone in her hamstrings and her glutes. So we roll her to her belly and we stretch her out this way. Beth, is this stretch worse than your hamstring stretch? Yeah. Does this way feel tighter to you? Yeah. This way is especially important to stretch. Since Beth is in her wheelchair for most of the day and her legs are in a 90-degree position, these muscles can get really tight over time. You're funny.
Is cerebral palsy genetic?
Cerebral palsy is not genetic. Cerebral palsy is caused by a birth defect. So it's brain damage that occurs either shortly before, during, or after birth. It damages the motor cortex, which is located at the top of a person's brain. And it affects everything from their balance to their muscle tone and their body's ability to relax. Relax, relax. Let's get this other leg stretched. For our next taping and application, we're going to be taping Beth's hamstring back here. What that's going to do is that's going to help actually inhibit or turn off her hamstrings because she has too much extension. That will hopefully help her bend her knee better, especially when walking. Okay, big stretch, Beth. Ready? Relax. There you go. Good, relax.
So no other cognitive functions are impaired. It is simply the motor.
Motor is impaired. Sometimes, unfortunately, due to the brain damage, you can have cognitive impairments as well. Beth does not have cognitive impairments, though. Relax. All right, good work. Cerebral palsy, too, it does have different classifications. You can have what's called diplegic, where only your legs are affected. You can actually have unilateral, where only one of your limbs are affected. You can have what's called ataxic cerebral palsy, where your balance is more affected than your muscle tone. You can also have a type of cerebral palsy that occurs right after you're born, between the ages of approximately 2 months and 6 months. And that's a really rare type. It actually takes about 2 years to diagnose cerebral palsy. So from the time that the child is born up until 2 years, and they progress through most of their gross motor milestones to really evaluate and classify what kind of cerebral palsy they have. All right, you ready for some tape?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are going to start up pretty high where Beth's hamstrings start. We're, again, going to take the tape and get an anchor portion and place it really well up in here, giving it a little bit of stretch. Okay? This, as you can tell, is really long. It's got to follow all the way down her leg.
Does this tape irritate her skin in any way?
Beth does not enjoy the feeling of the tape so much. She said sometimes it feels like there's a Band-Aid on her skin she wants to pull off, which I can understand. Sometimes people have an adverse reaction to the adhesive on the tape. I haven't seen that with Beth, but I know that, again, it would be most beneficial to these patients with cerebral palsy for it to be comfortable, to be a little bit more comforting and feel like a nice, almost soft fabric. That would give them a really good response. All right, second piece of tape is going to go on the inside hamstring or the medial hamstring. So again, we're going to start up at the top where we placed our other piece. And pull down. especially parts like this. Again, having the taping really comfortable would be ideal. Okay, Beth, how's that feel so far? Okay, good. Are you ready to get up and walk? Relax a sec, good. So I'm not really seeing too much of a difference in Beth's left foot taping application for her dorsiflexion. She's still really toe walking or pushing down in a plantar flexion when she's walking. When we walk this time, let's see how the right leg or the hamstring taping is affecting her. We should be looking for her knee bending a little bit more on her right side than her left side. There's a little bit more bending on the right side, but I think for her, it's not enough to be a significant difference to affect her walking and transfers.
Thank you for watching our video and learning more about those affected by cerebral palsy and about our project. We would like to thank the Paradigm Challenge for giving us this platform on which to showcase our idea and to share this information.
We'd like to thank McLaughlin Physical Therapy for agreeing to allow us to film at their location, and we'd like to thank the PTs and the patient who agreed to be in the video.
We would really, really, really appreciate it if you would please share this video, or at least the information that you learn in it. We would love to make the B.E.T.H project possible and to get as much awareness out as possible about this amazing community of people. Thank you so much.